Shalom, it's Izzy, your Hebrew teacher here, and this is Hebrew Chapters with Holy Language Institute. Read with me through Genesis chapter 13 in Hebrew. We will begin in Genesis chapter 13, verse 1. And my apologies for my fingers and fingernails. I was working on my truck intermittently for the last couple of days, and I trimmed my fingernails and I scrubbed my fingers and hands like you wouldn't believe, and they still have grease in them. So anyway, I hope that will provide a little entertainment for you, a little variety during this study. Vaya'al, the verb there is ala, and it means to ascend, go up. Vaya'al, and went up Avram. In English, we say Abram. His name was later changed to Abraham, or Avraham in Hebrew. This name is actually a contraction of two words. Av is father. Ram literally is tall, has the sense of exalted. He went up Me Mitzrayim. Mitzrayim is Egypt. Me, on the front there, is from. Who, that is to say he. V'ishto. Isha is a woman or a wife. V'ishto, and his wife. V'chol, and all. Asher, that lo, was his. V'lot, that's a name. In English we say Lot. Imo, with him. Ha-Negba. The Negev is a geographical area in Israel, the desert to the south. A, on the end of a word, in contexts like this, indicates direction. So they went towards the Negev. Ha-Negba. The Avram and Abram kaved. Now this is interesting because this word here, the verb is kavad, and it means to be heavy or weighty. It's also the root for the Hebrew word for glory, which is kavod. Let's see what it's talking about here. It's describing him as being kaved, heavy or weighty. Me'od, very. Abram weighed a lot. If you were to step on a scale, he was a heavy man. Let's read on. Ba mikneh. Oh, there we go. What are mikneh? This is an interesting word, actually. The verb is kana, and it means to get or acquire. You may remember that Eve named Cain, or in Hebrew Cain, from this root. She said, I got a man with the help of God. Here we have ba mikneh. Now this word here, mikneh, you would think generically it means possessions or that which you have acquired, that kind of idea. But in Hebrew it actually means livestock. In ancient Hebrew thought and economy, your livestock were your primary possessions. So here we have, he was very heavy ba mikneh, with, or literally in livestock. So obviously we can see from this that where it says he was very kaved, he was very heavy, it has the sense of being rich or wealthy, which is interesting because this is a word that is related to the Hebrew word for glory, as I had previously mentioned. Ba kesef, so apparently he was also very heavy in kesef. What's kesef? Silver. Uva zahav, and in gold. Vayelech, verb is halach, to walk or go. Vayelech, and he went. Lemasa'av, on his journeys. The verbal root there is masa, and it's interesting because it comes, the noun there is masa, and that means journey. The verbal root behind it is nasa, with a nun and an ayin, nasa. And it literally means to pluck or pull up. It has the sense of plucking up your tent stakes, pulling up stakes and setting out. In fact, we even have that expression in English, to pull up stakes, people understand means you're moving, you are preparing to depart. This verbal root, to pluck or pull up, literally, it can also mean to uproot or to quarry. It's one of the ways that it's used. Maybe that gives you an interesting sense of the journeys of Abraham and his wife Sarah. Min Negev, so he went on his journeys from the Negev, ve'ad, until Beit El. This is a geographical place name. Beit El. A bait is a house. Beit means house of. El, God. It's the short form. The longer term is Elohim. Ad, until Hamakom, the place. Asher, which Haya was Sham, there. Ahalo. An ohel is a tent. Here we have Ahalo, his tent. Ba Tchila. A Tchila is a start, starting point, beginning. So where his tent was at the beginning, Ba Tchila. Bain, between Beit El. In English, of course, people say Bethel often. Uvein, and between Ha'ai. In English, we say Ai. El, to Makom, a place, Hamizbeach, of the altar. The verb there is zavach, to butcher or slaughter in a sacrificial sense, to sacrifice. A mizbeach is the place where that sacrificing was done, an altar. So to the place of the altar, asher, which asa. I've mentioned this in previous Hebrew chapter studying, but it's worth noting. This verb here, asa, literally means to act or to do. It also can carry the sense of making. So this is an altar that he made. You can also read that it's an altar that he did. It's an altar that he acted. Sham, there. Ba rishona. Now, we already read the word tchila right here. His tent was there, ba tchila, in the beginning or at the start. Here we have a related word, sham, there, ba rishona. Now your head in Hebrew is your rosh, and from this word we get the word rishona, which means first. So ba rishona means at first. It's related to the first word in the Torah, bereshit, in the beginning. Here we have ba rishona, in the beginning. Vayikra, verb there is kara. It means to cry out or call. It can have the sense of, it has different connotations. It can have the sense of reading, of preaching, of inviting people to something, of naming something, dubbing it, so to speak. Here, let's read on and we'll see what sense it has. Vayikra, and he called Sham, there, Avram, B'Shem, in the name of, and then here we have the name of God, spelled in Hebrew Yod He Vav He. Most scholars believe God's name was originally pronounced Yahweh. For the last couple thousand years, Jewish people have been saying Adonai, which means my master or Lord, in place of pronouncing God's name. So we'll follow that tradition in these studies. So he called there in the name of Adonai, or he called on the name of Adonai. This is one of the original expressions in the scriptures and in the Torah for prayer, calling on God's name, crying out in God's name. V'gam, and also lalot, to lot, ha-holech, the one halaching, walking, or going, et Avram, with him, haya, there was. So in other words, when it says to Lot, right here it says v'gam lalot, and also to Lot, haya, there was, we can understand that as meaning, and also Lot had. Tzon, flocks, i.e. of sheep and goats. Uvakal, and herds, i.e. of cattle. V'ohalim, and ohels, tents. V'lo, and the negative, nasa. This verb nasa means to carry or bear. V'lo nasa, and didn't carry, otam, them, ha'aretz, the land. So the land couldn't carry or bear them, lashevet, The verb there is yashav, and it means to sit or dwell. Leshevet, to dwell. Yachdav. Thanks for watching this trailer. To get this whole talk in audio or video format, go to holylanguage.com and subscribe. I'll see you there.